Yo, what's happening, world? My name's Raheem Flowers, and this is more of a public service announcement to the man known as Tommy Sotomayor, or his government name, as people call him, Thomas Harris. Well, the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because I heard Tommy challenge people to a one-on-one debate, and I'm up for it. As a matter of fact, I sent him an email a few days ago, and I'm not gonna approach Tommy in the same manner that all these fake black nationalists did, or these simps like Angel Ramirez or Boyce Watkins, Theo Wilson. Nor am I gonna try to call him a coon like Robert Perkins and Tariq Nasheed, or one of these fake ass so-called pro-black conscious brothers. Nah, I'd rather come at Tommy with logic, because one thing I notice about Tommy is he'll use his analogies and he'll ask you a question within a question to divert whatever attention he wants it to be whenever he's speaking to another individual, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just an observation I made on the brother. I've seen so many one-on-ones with Tommy. I mean, I've studied the man since 2014, back when I used to hate Tommy. I called him a Sambo-ass, hoe-ass nigga, and I let him know what I said to him when I had a dialogue earlier this year when we were talking about pro-blacks and black women, and just the correlation and the detriment that's been caused by both parties these days. And honestly, I want to challenge Tommy, and I would like for him to see my most viewed video, World War Chirac, and Dear Black People Learn Self-Preservation. Those are my favorite two videos, and probably the most standout ones, and I think that would give him and people who want to view it a better idea of where my mindset is. I believe there's a multitude of issues going on in this so-called black community. It's not just black women. It's not just this white man and this white supremacy. It's not just simps. It's not just the gays, or the Jews. It's a multitude of issues, and if we just half step one and emphasize on the other, you're leaving a blind spot. And sometimes I think Tommy gets so caught up in all the debauchery that he deals with on social media, whether it be trolls fucking with him, and whether it be black women talking shit about him, and whether it be dudes or just other individuals in general insulting his daughter, plural. You see, and I don't like that shit, because even when I hated Tommy, never once did it cross my mind to come at Alexis, his 10-year-old now daughter. It didn't cross my mind to come at that Russian broad that he's with, Lana, or his mother, or his grandma. It never once crossed my mind, because as a man, you gotta have principles. You gotta have a level of respect. Maybe not respect for the individual, but just as far as just like women and children and family, etc. If these people have nothing to do with their content, there's no reason. And let me tell you why I used to hate Tommy. I used to think the man was akin to Q of WorldStar whenever he posted his content, and more specifically on his TNN Raw channel, when he posted all the ratchetness that went on and he made his commentary. It wasn't what he said, it wasn't how he said it, just like the typical remark that people tend to make. That's that weak argument. Mine was a little bit more, okay, what is your angle? And what do you want to accomplish out of doing this? Is this some sort of shock value? Is this some sort of form of reverse psychology? Like, what were you doing? Like, that was my initial thought process. Because I listened to guys like Kane Carter, Lord Jamar, Pat Condell, Thelonious Monk, Drinking with Bob, and Aaron McGruder is one of the most politically incorrect man, well, prior to the 4th season of the Boondocks. So I couldn't give a rat's ass. I couldn't give 2 fucks about what you say and how you say it, if it has some sort of substance and power behind it. And I knew there was something about Tommy that did intrigue me. Whether I liked him or hated him, and even when I hated him, I knew there was something that I could understand why people would magnetize to his content. Because he is good at marketing himself. Gotta hand that. But another thing, even though all that is done with, and I let him know what it was, and we had respect after having those conversations on the show. Like, they'll be in the link in the description too. So just to let you all know, I'm not making this up. And yeah, I would just want to dialogue with Tommy and just let him know, like, even though I do agree with a good portion of what you say, I just think there's an element in there that really stops you from going as far. And I think that's the fact that Tommy tends to be an emotional individual. I remember when he was on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, the brother said he got to stomp the bitch out in him. These were Tommy's words verbatim. Go check out the video. And, you know, Tommy, even in your video that I thoroughly enjoyed, where he said, "Dear black people, stop catering to your emotion and use logic, supersede that." When you made that video in August last year, but Tommy, you have to understand, you can't be an individual who doesn't practice what they preach. You've openly admitted that you have a hard time taking your dick home, but then you advise brothers to do that. You have repeated that several times, and then you not romanticize, but you emphasize and repeat about your stalkers. And it does kind of, I don't want to say completely, but in ways, it waters down your overall premise and what you have to offer to the world. And yeah, I could appreciate what the brother has to say, but Tommy, this is just a public service announcement from me to you. So if any of your Soto Nation fanboys and fangirls say something to me, just know I've been in your comment sections plenty of time, and I'm not saying this out of no disrespect. I'm actually saying this because I accept your challenge. And I have my email, and I sent you a link to that TJ Your World My Views. So I accept your challenge as a young man. I'm only 24 years old. Yup. Just like the brother Maximilian who was on your show recently. But yeah, I've seen so many one-on-ones, whether it been with Polite, whether it been with Sonetta, whether it been with Maximilian, whether it been with that guy with Simp Tendencies, Brandon, who was on there twice, whether it been with that broad Geneva, whether it been Robert Perkins. I could keep going on. And you say the people who talk about me don't ever really bother to talk to me. Well, I'm making sure that I'm the exception to that rule, or one of the few exceptions to that rule, rather. So if you get this video, I hope that you respond to it accordingly, and we get something going on a day off where I'm free and you're free, and boom. Because I know your whole spiel and premise is the black woman is the primary or the most fundamental downfall. Even though I do believe that two-thirds of it is black women, I also believe that 20% of it is black men and 15% is outside forces, governments, or white people, or the Arabs and Arab slave trade, and just a bunch of stuff. But something, even though I wanted to talk to Tommy about, was blaxploitation, and how we as black men have been the ones that cause this debauchery and help manufacture the archetype, the nigga archetype that we have today. I know that Tommy doesn't say that black men didn't have any helping hand. This is why he has referenced simps. I mean, I could acknowledge that Tommy's not one of those individuals who just say black women, but I think that Tommy, you give black women too much credit sometimes, brother. You know better than I do, since you're older, that these black women have a false sense of power. There's no real power behind it. That's what the white daddy government has done. Gave them a false sense of power. And then you black men have caved in and perpetuated the stereotype or the notion of blaxploitation films and this gangster lifestyle and drug slinging, and these black women have magnetized to that. So black men were given that illusion that if I live this lifestyle, then I'm gonna get X amount of women, as if you're gonna get a harem and a pool of pussy. But now we got a cesspool of bullshit now, because of whatever sexual urges that we had. Yup. And I'd rather not say too much right now. This is just more of a accepting a challenge and hoping that he gets the video. But yeah, I accept your challenge, and as you said in your video, I'm ready to grab one of them belts from you. Yup. So let's do this. Peace.